The Russia-Ukraine war is shifting once again. President Trump is set to meet Zelensky at the White House to finalize a major deal, but it doesn't include security guarantees for Ukraine. Meanwhile, European leaders are pushing back, and Ukrainian forces have launched new attacks on Russian infrastructure. What happens next? And what does this mean for preppers? Welcome to Preppers News, bringing you news and global events with a prepper's perspective. I use a computer-generated voice for narration due to an injury that makes my own difficult to understand. Today, we'll cover the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, including Trump and Zelensky's upcoming high-stakes meeting, European leaders demanding a seat at the table, and Ukraine's latest military operations against Russian targets. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has finalized an economic agreement with Donald Trump, securing a co-owned investment fund aimed at rebuilding Ukraine's war-damaged economy. Under this deal, Ukraine will allocate 50% of future revenues from critical minerals and hydrocarbons to the fund, ensuring American financial involvement in the country's reconstruction. However, security guarantees were not included. Despite Ukraine's push for a defense commitment, Trump has made it clear that military aid is not part of the agreement. Instead, he suggested that U.S. financial investment in Ukraine itself provides an automatic security guarantee by tying American interests to the country's stability. Trump also confirmed that Ukraine will not be joining NATO, stating that Ukraine's NATO aspirations may have been a key factor in Russia's decision to invade. He reiterated that while the U.S. would support Ukraine in reclaiming as much territory as possible, full NATO membership is off the table. With this new economic agreement in place, but no clear military backing, questions remain over how Ukraine will sustain its long-term security against Russian aggression. As peace talks between the U.S. and Russia continue, European leaders are growing increasingly frustrated over their exclusion from key negotiations. French President Emmanuel Macron has insisted that any agreement must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty, warning that Europe will not support a deal that undermines Ukraine's long-term security. Meanwhile, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has pledged increased defense spending and has even offered British troops to enforce a ceasefire, but only if U.S. security guarantees are included in the deal. With the U.S. prioritizing economic reconstruction over military commitments, some European nations fear that Ukraine is being pressured into an agreement that lacks the security backing it needs. As negotiations unfold, the divide between the U.S. and Europe on how to handle the conflict is becoming more pronounced. In a significant political shift, Ukraine's parliament has voted to extend Volodymyr Zelensky's presidency indefinitely under martial law. This decision comes after criticism from Trump, who referred to Zelensky as a dictator for postponing elections during the ongoing war. Ukraine's government, however, argues that holding an election during an active war is not feasible, and that stability is necessary for the country's defense. The parliamentary vote reinforces Zelensky's leadership until hostilities end, with elections postponed until Ukraine deems it safe to hold a democratic vote. This move has sparked mixed reactions internationally, with some Western allies supporting the extension as a wartime necessity, while others question the long-term implications for Ukrainian democracy. While diplomatic talks continue, Ukraine has launched new military operations targeting Russian infrastructure. Ukrainian forces have successfully recaptured the village of Kotline in the Donetsk region, marking a small but symbolic gain. In addition, Ukrainian drones struck an oil refinery in Tuapse, Russia, and multiple airfields in Crimea, dealing another blow to Russia's logistical operations. These attacks demonstrate that despite ongoing negotiations, Ukraine is not slowing down its efforts to weaken Russian supply lines and infrastructure. The big question now is whether these latest strikes will provoke a stronger Russian response or push Moscow to negotiate more seriously. The situation remains fluid, with the U.S. finalizing an economic agreement with Ukraine but withholding security guarantees. Ukraine's military future remains uncertain. Meanwhile, European leaders are pushing for stronger military commitments, and the ongoing conflict continues to strain Ukraine's economy and resources. On the economic front, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development has projected that Ukraine's economy could grow by 5% in 2026, but only if a ceasefire is reached. While economic deals may provide a pathway to rebuilding, without military assurances, Ukraine still faces significant risks. For preppers, this means staying alert to shifts in global stability. The ongoing war continues to impact fuel prices, supply chains, and geopolitical tensions, and the latest diplomatic moves could determine whether the situation escalates or moves toward a resolution. What do you think? Has Ukraine been forced into an economic deal that lacks real security, or is this the best option available? Let me know in the comments. If you found this update useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay prepared, stay aware, and as always, keep an eye on what's happening in the world.